I've had someone request I do a quick video on my mill setup, Cane Canuta, I think it was. So I bought the Keg King 3-roller mill. This is the geared mill, so it's a little bit of a step up from my original 2-roller. I've chucked it on a little bench that I made and hooked up the Ozito Spade Handle drill. It's a mixing drill that you can get from Bunnings, about $100 or so. So with this mill, looks like any other mill really from the top. You can barely see the rollers, but it's got this finger guard, which is a nice little safety feature. The adjustment is the same as pretty much every other basic mill out there. You undo this to loosen the bottom roller in this case, and then you use that dial to set your spacing. So I think it's recommended that you adjust both ends at the same time as best you can, just so it doesn't go out of whack and do some funny stuff. So what have I got this set at? For me, it's hard with this light. So my gap is 1.4 mil or 0.055 inches. Seems to work alright for me. I don't get stuck sparges with wheat, and I'll be brewing very soon with a lot of wheat, so that'll really test it out. For the drill, this mill comes with, it looks like a normal drill shaft, like the hex head on the end, so the drill literally fits straight onto it. And I was lucky enough that a 35mm piece of timber lined it up perfectly. So there was no extra spacings required. So I've got one bolt running underneath, which goes into one of these handle holes. And then around the back, to stop it from twisting, I just put an L bracket on. That's pretty easy. Got that from Bunnings as well. I can't remember the size of these bolts, but it's pretty easy to look up in the manual. On the back of the mill, you've got some little assembly instructions, but it's pretty straightforward. There's not much to it. When I made this underneath, it's really hard to see, but that is rough as guts. So I'm going to have to neaten that up. So with the little cabinet or shelf, whatever you want to call it, just a little bit of MDF, a few casters. I can lock 2 of them just so it doesn't run away. I made a little shelf here that's removable. I set the height so I can fit a bucket in there with a lid, and it still fits under the little bolts that hang out. So you got to be careful with that, because if you get that wrong and your bucket doesn't fit, it's kind of a waste of time. So I'm going to measure out some grain for a brew tomorrow, and I'll run it through, show you how it goes. I've got all my malt measured out now, and I've got it plugged in, so it's just like that. Happy days. But on this side of the handle, you can see this button here that locks it. That's how I let it run. I just lock it on and away she goes. Got the bucket in. As you can see, it's a nice tight fit. I set the mill position up so when the bucket is right in the back left corner, it spits pretty much centered into the bucket in both directions. Can't get around that side, but you get the idea. So I've got my malt weighed out here. Mostly Pilsner, a bit of American ale, because I'm making a Pilsner. So I'll start scooping that in. It will get quite loud, so I won't be able to talk at the same time. Let's go. now that it's stopped, just to be extra. I know it's got the finger guard, but last thing I need is one less finger on brew day. So. Alright, let's pull her out and have a little look-see. I might just have to put this down for a second. Full. Definitely full. So you can see that's the crush. Don't think I'll have any problems with that. Seems to go alright. And no real spillage, which is great. I almost forgot my 500 grams of maize. Didn't need to mill it because it's flaked, but I'll just sprinkle that on for now. Try and get it all in the one bucket. Make it easier for tomorrow. And I'll give it all a good mix before I start mashing in. Cool. Brew day tomorrow.